You're listening to the Body Contouring Academy's Proven Profits podcast, your source for non-invasive body contouring. Here we reveal the blueprint to generate more revenue and realize the profits you want. Stay tuned to hear insightful interviews from industry experts and successful business owners on what strategies they use to grow their body contouring practice. Do you think it's possible to get certified in body contouring while working full-time at Amazon? Then practice on your family and friends and even set up shop in your parents' living room and end up less than a year later with a busy, profitable body contouring practice? Our guest, Christine Curry of Snatched Body Spa, did just that. And she's telling us how she did it and how she used the 6-in-1 cavitation machine to make it easy. Christine, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy practice to talk to us as part of our series of body contouring expert interviews. We really appreciate it, and we know the information you provide will help so much for your aesthetic provider peers.
Christine, tell us about yourself and how you got into the body contouring aesthetic industry.
So my name is Christine. I'm 24 years old. I'm a Sagittarius. I was born in December. I started getting into the body contouring, the body sculpting because I was actually one of those people who thought about getting their bodies done. And I'm not scared of needles, but when COVID came along, my immune system got really weak and I ended up getting sick with liver disease. And so I had to be put on, a lot of medication and, take final steps, to get my health back in a better direction. I'm doing much, much more better now. But my doctors, were just saying like they wouldn't recommend me getting on the table as, a good idea. So I started, doing my research on body contouring in my area. I live in Maryland, so I started looking around in, Washington, D.C., Upper Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia to see, what could I possibly do. There's a whole lot of different variety of classes. People offer different techniques, and to each his own. Everyone, learns different techniques and they operate their business differently. That I initially took, we went over, like the basic courses, the techniques. We went over how to, operate a business, some marketing tips, and then how to build clientele. So to my business, I want to say I kind of like just jumped right in right after my class. It took me a minute to make my social media accounts. I was operating off of my, personal accounts, and then I started a website with Square to put my services up there, just a scheduling website for people to kind of get a little bit more information. So on my website, I list all my services, but also I have like a little description of what the services do and what the services are for. I also, after my class, because my class was about an hour and a half from where I actually reside in Maryland, so I kind of had to go to Washington to even take the initial class. However, I will say, taking the class overall, I think made it much more less complicated. Because at first, I will say body contouring looks easier than what you're actually seeing people do. And that's what a lot of my clients, like once they come in, and then I like to talk to my clients during their session so things are not, awkward between us, and they're not just, like laying there on, the bed and just like staring at me, or I'm just looking at them. So I like to engage in conversation with them. And a lot of them where they like to, ask me questions like this is really a workout for you. And I was like, when I looked at videos on YouTube and on Google about what body contouring was, I thought it was like, okay, I'm going to get this down pat way. It's not going to take me any time. Then once I started the class, because the class we had to do a handwritten test, but we also had to, after you pass your handwritten test, you have to do another test on live models of all the techniques and things that you learn in the class so that you can be graded and taught how to maneuver and do it the right way. So I get a lot of questions about, does it help? And I will say it's a lot of upper body strength put into body contouring. A lot of people ask me if my arms or my hands ever get tired. They ask me if my back ever gets tired, because I maneuver a lot. I switch from each side of the bed when I'm working on someone. I try to, depending on how long their session is and what services they're getting, I try to spend like the equal amount of time on each side of the body that they are doing. So a lot of people also feel like, I'm working out as well.
Yeah. Well, so you're a career changer, right, Christine? It sounds like you went back and did this education and training, pretty much turnkey, because it started in how to sell and everything. What were you doing before? And I guess it was your health issues that inspired you and interested you in body contouring?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you've been doing this about a year now or longer?
Yeah. For about a year now, yes.
Okay. Well, that's great. And it sounds like you're loving it and your patients are loving it too.
Yes, I like my clients. They send me like client selfies. They send me text messages just letting me know because even though everything is non-invasive, non-surgical, we use these machines and we use these tools, also on the body part to help with, the skin layers, the blood flow of the body. And so I just want to check on them depending on, what they got done, because some people can have a little bit of mild swelling. Some people can have a bit of tenderness or bruising, for the first 2 to 3 days. So I always reach out and want to check on them as well and make sure like everything is going smoothly and, they're getting back to their comfort zone.
Great. Well, I know that you offer a whole stable of body contouring treatments and use different devices and tools. But today we're talking about your 40K cavitation machine, which I've seen also called 6-in-1 cavitation machine. So tell us a little bit about what went into your selection of that device and the steps you made to go ahead and purchase it and start using it. Was it from your course or other things?
So yes, it was from my course. Our teachers recommended starting out, with the 6-in-1 cavitation machine, only because there's other machines that you can use, yes, and that have more, I want to say, for people who's looking for immediate results right after. There's other machines that have higher frequency that you can progress to as well. But my instructor, she let us know that this is kind of like the starter machine. Like this is what a lot of people use, but some people actually stick with it. I like this machine actually, and I'll tell you why. I like this machine because when I first got this machine, I got the manual as well. And you know how people are always looking for together and start, like, this is something I actually had to sit down and learn how to physically put it together myself. I had to physically relearn how to use the machine because we learned during our class, but because it was during COVID, it took a while for our machines to even get to us because our instructors, we had to pay for it. Our instructors ordered it for us because it came with tools as well, like some of our ward therapy tools, our ultrasound gel, our chuck pads, for our bed. They put together like a little kit for us, but the machines weren't here in time for the class that we had took. So everything we had learned in the class had literally bypassed, my brain, and I had to literally sit down, learn how to hook this machine up piece by piece, study the warranty, study the cavitation heads, the vacuum therapy probe, the skin tightening probe. You had to go back through, and I had to relearn, what exactly is it that they're going to be doing and administrating. And I want to say the skin, I even though I haven't, needed a skin tightening myself, I will say doing the skin tightening, amazes me. And I mean, only reason I say this is because the cavitation machine comes with 2 to 3 different type of skin tightening probes, depending on if you have the 6-in-1. This machine also comes in like a 9-in-1, so you get 9 instead of 6. But with the radio frequency skin tightening, I use a little bit of oil or the ultrasound gel on my client's skin, depending on their skin type. I always ask people if they have, sensitive skin or any type of eczema or anything going on that I should know about. I also have them come to their sessions with, no lotions or smell goods on or anything like that. And the skin tightening really changed the dynamic of the service that you're getting to the target area. So I can have someone, and not to be rude, but I can have someone come in for a session, and it can be like a mom that has so many, stretch marks, so much extra skin from the top of her stomach to the bottom of her stomach, but as well on the sides, and it's not that it's ugly. It's just that skin, it doesn't belong there because they have that weight has fell off, but the skin is still there. So I've seen some people come in extra wrinkly, like shriveled up skin, and have left literally with no wrinkles at all.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
I know. And I have some people that are like, well, how long is this going to last? Does this last? And so now I'm getting into the habit of recording, my results a little bit better, posting it once I'm not busy. Also, reviews I've opened up now, so people can be able to post, reviews for my website. I think that the radio frequency level in the skin tightening on the 40K machine is high enough for me. That's me particularly. I have not moved on to another machine just yet because my client, the work that I do on my clients, they like the machine. A lot of them can see immediate results, whether it's just like 1 or 1.5 inch, that they went down just from getting like a laser lipo session, which is the lipo pads that comes with the machine, and it's 6 of them that you place around the stomach area. Mm-hmm. You could place them on the back area as well. When they're placed on the back area, they just help, contour the back with the arch of the lower back and the butt area. A lot of people get that done when they're getting their, want to get their butt done with the cupping method.
So can you list the 6, how 6 treatments in one device, 6-in-1, and you mentioned the lipo laser and the radio frequency skin tightening. What other conditions can you treat, and what technology does it use?
So we have the laser lipo and the lipocavitation. Laser lipo are just the 6 laser pads that that I was talking about that go around the targeted area. The lipocavitation would be the cavitation probe. So the cavitation probe is a smooth circular probe. It's metal on the end. And it looks a little bit, I want to say, like, I don't have any kids, but I've seen it when you go and get an ultrasound and they put that probe on your stomach for you to look into the monitor so you can see, the baby inside. So the cavitation probe looks a little bit like that, but it's metal on the end. So I use that to go over the target area, which sometimes is mainly used for the back, the sides, the stomach. You can use it on the arms. A lot of people get it for their stomach to break down the laser pads first, break down and shrink the fat, the stubborn fat in the target area. Then I just go over that target area with some ultrasound gel or the type of cream that I use on my clients, and I would use the cavitation probe to go over that target area. So once the pads have broke down the fat, the cavitation probe helps eliminate the fat.
Okay.
After I have radio frequency skin tightening. So the radio frequency, there's 2 probes that come with that. You get one to use on the body, and then there's another one for chins and arms and smaller areas. Now, I have not personally worked on anybody's chin, like as a client. I did, however, learn that technique in my class. I have worked on arms with the skin tightening, and just usually using the smaller skin tightening probe. You have to be very careful, I want to say, with both of them, but initially with the small one as well, because there's less heads on the one that the smaller skin tightening probe that you use. So the big one has about 4 more, I want to say, than the chin reduction and arm reduction skin tightening probe does. But with the skin tightening, it lights up red. That's how you know it's on and working. Once it lights up red, it takes about anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute to warm up. Just that very first minute that you actually, cut your machine on, you select the skin tightening probe, and then you also have to put the energy size on the machine. So the energy goes all the way up to 9, depending on what energy level you want to use it on. Then we have mode A and mode B. The 2 difference between mode A and mode B would be the stubbornness of the type of fat you think that you have and the type of body and skin layers you think they have. Like some people's stubbornness of the belly fat in their skin is a little bit more, like you have to tack it in a more aggressive way with the machine, I want to say, than just leaving it on a normal body mode. So the radio frequency skin tightening probe for the chin, it does get hot within that 30 seconds to a minute. So it's very, I want to say, crucial that when you're performing and you're operating on someone, you have to pay attention to where you're maneuvering the skin tightening probe, because if you don't, you can burn someone. Like, it doesn't even matter. You don't even have to leave it sitting on them. Like, you have to keep moving the skin tightening probe in the circular motion. You have to move it. If you leave it like for just a quick second in one spot on someone, they will get burned. That's how hot it heats up. Because it's, it's the radio frequency is like a laser. It's like laser contouring. So it helps eliminate the fat, and it helps eliminate, the extra skin. It also helps, my clients have been telling me that it has been helping lighten up their stretch marks, actually. So some of them, their stretch marks have gotten to the point where you can't even see them now because they've used the skin tightening probe.
I bet they like.
I'm sorry, what was that?
But I bet they like that.
Yes, a lot of them like that. So I get a lot more cellulite treatments because I do a cellulite reduction. So that's another treatment you can, use with the skin tightening probe. It does help treat cellulite. I do have clients that come in that just want to get their thighs done. And, those little dents that you have, like in your thighs, some people have them in their thighs. Some have them, in their upper butt area or their back a little bit. So the skin tightening probe does help to reduce cellulite as well. It does help with some people who have, I think they call it like a double chin.
Mm-hmm. Wow, it sounds like that machine, that device, can treat a lot of issues. It's very versatile.
Yes. And yes, it does. And the last but not least, is the vacuum therapy probe. So this one is my favorite. And I'll tell you why this one is my favorite. Because it doesn't matter what kind of client I get. And when I say it doesn't matter what kind of client, I mean they could be like a petite client, they could be thick, they could be slim, they could be fat, they could be curvy. It doesn't matter. The vacuum therapy probe is like a monster. Like it attacks everything that you're trying to, get done. So I have one of these services called a 360 lipo because I use the vacuum therapy. So vacuum therapy kind of helps eliminate the stubborn belly fat in the target area that we're working on. They have some mild swelling, some mild bruising, tenderness as well, because the vacuum therapy probe is kind of like getting liposuction. Like it's actually like sucking the fat, like it sucks at the skin, and it sticks to the skin as well. So I use, some ultrasound gel, but mainly I try not to because I don't want it to clog the vacuum. So I try to use thin oils, slimming oils that would help. But the vacuum therapy helps also contour and helps with shaping, like reshaping that targeted area. So I have a lady who she told me that she had got surgery after she had her daughter. And they told her that she messed up one of her muscles. She would have to get surgery for it. And she came to me after she went and paid over $1,000. She said she did the fat freezing. And it's crazy because she has showed me pictures, and now we're looking at the pictures, and she is like, the body sculpting has worked more for her than the fat freezing did. And I'm not gonna lie, she wasn't like a fat woman, but her stomach was her main issue. With it being so big, her having stretch marks, it was a little bit over her private area, so she wanted to take that down. And she just had an appointment last week, and none of her clothes, her bottoms are fitting her because of how much we use vacuum therapy. It's her third session, and we took her down a size, and she's lost a couple of pounds, but her stomach has went down tremendously to the point where she's now buying new bottoms and new clothing, to wear, which is good.
Yes. So, Christine, do you sometimes, like when you're assessing your client and her problem area or concerns, do you sometimes combine the different modalities that their 6-in-1 offers, or do you usually just do, I'm going to start with this and then we'll do this? Tell us a little bit about your treatment plans.
So a little bit about my treatment plans. Yes, to the question that you asked, I do combine services. I noticed a lot of people do package deals instead of, single services. because they can get more out of a packet than they can, just getting that single service.
Yeah.
So like the 360 lipo I was telling you about, that consists of the vacuum therapy probe, which also consists of the ultrasonic cavitation probe. So I would use the vacuum probe, the cavitation probe, and then my wood therapy tools as well. All three of those techniques consist of what I consider a 360 liposuction, because alone, the vacuum therapy is going to help tone the body, but, it's also going to suck and keep sucking and pulling that, that skin where that excessive fat is in that area. And then once I'm done with that, I clean them off, wipe them down really quick. And then I go with, the cavitation as well. But I usually do the cavitation first. Let me just put that out there. Whenever I'm doing treatments and I consist of multiple services, I try to do everything cool first. And then anything that's going to be warm, like the skin tightening, I try to make sure that is last. Because after that, you want to make sure that you clean them off really good. You make sure you want to have all the products off of them as well. And then the wood therapy comes in and it helps with, the vacuum therapy, because vacuum therapy is going to help contour the body, but so is the wood therapy. And wood therapy is also, good for helping with the blood flow, the skin layers of the skin as well. So I do mix it up with my techniques with my clients. I try to, make sure that I'm still giving them the results that they are looking for or trying to achieve. And with wood therapy, using the tools after the vacuum therapy, there's no harming, to the skin or the skin tissue. It helps improve the blood flow. And it's an all-natural method as well. Vacuum therapy also helps, I want to say, with the tension in the muscles that a lot of people I notice have a lot of tension in their muscles, but it also helps, reduce the fat in that muscle, near that muscle, and helps reshape the body. I like using the vacuum therapy and the wood therapy together, because those two right there, they are aggressive. Those are like two of my most aggressive ones, because you can leave with those, you'll leave with immediate results, because however you came in, if I have to do any procedure on you to any area where I have to use vacuum therapy and wood therapy in the same session, you're going to see immediate results and you're going to see a change right then and there. Because that's how actively and aggressive they are together.
Well, it sounds like you have really figured it out. Like you went and got educated, you learned all about it, you're helping your clients because you see the results, you see how happy they are. So I think it's an inspiring story. Tell us a little bit about your journey after completing your course and getting started setting up your business, because it seems like you've done so much in such a short period of time.
I have. So I will say it was not easy. And the reason why I'll say that is because, COVID is still going on. And a lot of people, jumped into entrepreneurship, going into business for themselves as well. But sometimes, it depends on the area you live in. After I got certified, I didn't know really if I wanted to, just go and get a building and get a place of business right away, because, that's going to be another bill I would have to pay. And I didn't know if I was going to, gain a lot of clients. So those are some things that I did have worries about. And, like what if my appointments get slow? Like, what am I supposed to do at that point in time? So some of those things, were like on my mind. I took about, I want to say, I took a month to myself after I took my course. I took a month and I used like my sisters, I used my friends, I used my mom, my dad, people closest to me, to operate on them first, get some practice in. I also, one day my parents came home and I had like turned their living room into like my little body contouring studio for like one day. And my dad was confused. He didn't know what was going on. And this particular day that I turned the living room into my little body contouring studio and moved the furniture, put my bed up and stuff, he didn't know that he was going to be one of my clients that day. So he was really coming in perfect timing. And so he came in and he was like, what is this? Like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, I'm going to practice today. And my dad was like, oh, I can't wait to see, like, how it is and what you're going to be doing. And I'm like, I'm so glad you said that because you are going to be my client today. And at that point, he was like, huh? He was like, do men get this done? And I'm like, this actually is a question that I get a lot. Can males and females do this? And the answer is yes. Males and females can get it done. I guess a lot of people feel like it's just, predominantly for women, but males and females can get it done. But in that month that I took after I completed my course, I started, working on my friends and my family. I started practicing more. And so when I started practicing more while I was doing that, I was posting little videos on like my Facebook and my Snap story and on my Instagram, just so like people could kind of, fill it out. And then my sister was like, well, why don't you, get into the habit? Why don't you start an Instagram page? So what I did was I started an Instagram page and I made a little bio, and then I came up with a price list. And it's crazy because the price list I came up with, I still have my very first price list. I made it in my notes on my phone, and then I transferred it over to my laptop. I had sent it to my email, transferred it over to my laptop, and made like a little PowerPoint of it. And on my Instagram, that was kind of my price list. So I posted it in my highlights to my page. So anytime anybody would go on my page, they would automatically say, boom, a price list, since I didn't have the website at the time. And I only had, like my little clips I would post to my Snap story. So then that started gaining me, a bunch of followers. And then I started getting people like from West Virginia, people in Towson, Maryland. I started getting people in Frederick, Maryland, Hagerstown, all the way down to Rockville, Maryland, just reaching out, like, what are your services? What are your prices? How long would I have to do this? I started getting, like, more clients. I started getting people reaching out, like, hey, like, when will you be officially open? I had people literally like, well, I'll be one of the people you can practice on if I can still pay for an appointment. So they were reaching out like that. And so it kind of made me feel good because it kind of made me feel like, okay, like people are taking what I'm doing serious. I had a young lady reach out to me who had already paid her deposit to get her surgery, to get her body done. And then she seen me and she was like, well, we live in the same town. She was like, and you're not that far. She was like, my deposit, is non-refundable, but if this is the natural way, I'd rather, do it the natural way than going, to get the surgery. And it made me feel good because I know that getting those surgeries done, they have to come out of pocket for those deposits because I wanted to get my boobs done. And I think my deposit was like $500 or $500 to $1,000 to even, get something like that done. So it was the fact that she had already, paid her deposit and was willing to still come and get treated and done by me as to going to, an actual surgeon to, still get her body done. It made me feel great. Mm-hmm. It made me feel like I was taking the right steps. I will say, like, there is times when you're first starting out that things will get slow. So like I want to say like the first 2 months into my business were boom, great. You know, I was booming, appointments back to back, like it was crazy. It was a lot. And then on top of that, I was a recruiter for Amazon. So Monday through Saturdays was my normal schedule for that job. And I had to be there, you know, from 9 to 5:30. I was interviewing candidates all day, getting their drug tests done, hiring them into the system, you know, trying to get them ready for that. And I could only imagine, like, okay, now tomorrow I forget about Amazon. I got to put the brain back on to go into, you know, my suite and to get prepared for my clients. So I know a lot of people probably are like, no, don't want to say discouraged, but are kind of like skeptical and like fear that their business is not going to make it. I know that's why a lot of people don't, you know, just up and quit their full-time job to, you know, become an entrepreneur or a business owner. So what I did was I cut my hours down and I turned into part-time with Amazon, and I turned into part-time at the shop. And that's how I started, you know, building clientele up. Now, depending on your prices, depending on what your overall goal is, that's something, like, I guess that depends on the person. My overall goal is to be doing this full time. So that's why I took the route that I took, and that's what I've been doing now, full time, the body sculpting.
Congratulations, Christine. I mean, that is so inspiring. And I know the listeners who are thinking about doing that, it really, really helps, because it shows that you have to apply yourself and get that education. It's a lot of hard work, but it's completely doable. And
it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So back to the Instagram, do you still do your own advertising and marketing? And
I do. So I've had a couple of people reach out to me. I think one was a spam, though, because I'm like kind of skeptical. When they reached out by like email, they didn't have like no phone number, no address, no business name at the end. So I was kind of like, okay, so what is the business? And then like their business name that they kept giving me in the email, I went and I looked it up on Instagram, and then it came back like a fashion boutique or something. So it was kind of giving me weird vibes. Mm-hmm. I know this lady who has messaged me, and she is actually legit. There's been some other, I've actually had like some vendors reach out as well, to start doing, you know, maybe looking at doing my own, you know, waist trainers, because, and butt lifters, waist shapers, with my logo and my brand doing it, because a lot of people that come to me don't wear shapewear, and I was just telling them, you know, like the shapewear actually helps mobilize and stabilizes your results in your body. You know, after you just get a service done, it's, you know, good to, you know, wear that waist trainer if you targeted the back or the stomach area, the thigh area as well. They do have trainers, you know, for the thighs and for the butt as well. So
yeah, even opportunities for you. Yeah. So you're doing this full time. You're supporting yourself with this full time now.
Yes.
Okay. Amazon's gone.
Yes.
That's wonderful. So, you know, your overall impression of your decision for the 6-in-1, I'm going to guess I know the answer, but, you know, would you recommend this to other businesses, other practices, other people interested in starting their own body contouring business?
Yes. Definitely would.
What words of advice do you have for those aspiring to take the path that you did?
some words of encouragement that I have would be to people. Actually, this is crazy. I just literally had a girl reach out to me, and we're doing the same thing. And literally, she's only like the second person where I live who is doing something similar or the same thing as me. We're the only two people where we live in this actual town that are like body sculptors. So she, you know, she was having a hard time, and I just basically told her, you know, it's okay, you know, when you're having a hard time, because I had a hard time. I'm not going to lie. I did have a hard time, you know, trying to figure some things out and what I wanted to do, because, you know, a lot of people don't want to give up their full-time job because that's their stability, that's their income, you know. So it's really like you're taking a step out, like a leap of faith, to see if this is going to work out for you. But I always tell people, don't second guess it, because second guessing yourself, basically it just means that you're unsure of the decisions that you're making. So I always say don't second guess yourself. Also, even if it's not just, you know, body sculpting, even if they're just stepping out to do entrepreneurship or, you know, go into business on their own, I would definitely say make sure that you are doing your research and you're looking, you know, at other people, even if they're older than you, younger than you, but they're doing anything similar to you. Don't be afraid to reach out to people. I've reached out to, you know, multiple people to compare notes, success. I still talk to people from my class as well. Some other people are doing better than me. Some people are not. And so I just tell them to be confident in what they're doing. If you ever feel like you're doing something wrong, do exactly what I did. Go back to the drawing board. Don't just, you know, technically give up completely. Because at times, you know, when I first started out, I was telling you guys, you know, my appointments got slow. You know, after the first 2 months, like my appointments was good. Everything was booming. And then I hit like a little snag where I was just getting like followers. I was getting likes on pictures and stuff, but I wasn't getting, you know, people to set appointments. So that's when I went back to the drawing board, and I was like, okay, what can I do to get people to book appointments, you know, because I'm getting followers every day. I'm getting likes on pictures. I'm getting messages about, you know, different services. I'm getting people booking consultations. So whenever you feel like something is not going your way or is not going a successful way, just take yourself back to the drawing board, you know, regroup, come back with some different ideas. Also, I would say, I tell a lot of people just to stick with what they have going on, because I'm not a person who likes to give up. So I try to make sure, like, and I tell people around me, like, just don't give up so easily, because you never know. Like, it could honestly be a life-changing moment for you. Success is not going to happen overnight for anybody. You know, you have to put in the work. You have to put in the time. For some people, it may work overnight from them, but everyone is not the same. Sometimes it takes a little bit more time. It takes a little bit more, you know, practice to get things done. So I always want people to feel things out for what they are. And then if it doesn't work out, then, you know, it doesn't work out. But at least you can say you didn't give up. You still stuck with it. You still tried, you know.
That's right.
Just to see what happens and where you end up.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's everyone's story. If you stick with it and then you're successful, people see your success and think it was easy, but it's never easy.
Exactly.
It's always doable, and the reward is definitely worth it.
Well, just wrap up. Thank you so much, Christine, for your time and your willingness to share what's made your practice at Snap Body Spa so incredibly successful with the 6-in-1 machine. So if listeners want to learn more about your spas, where can they find you?
I am located in Frederick, Maryland, 4 South McCain Drive, Frederick, Maryland. My Instagram name is snatchbodies_spa. My headline says DMV Body Contouring LLC.
Okay. Christine, we have taken so much time, and the time is much. Thank you so much. And, we'll just stay in touch and see how things go for you, and maybe talk about having you back, to see what else is new, if you're willing.
Yes, absolutely. Sounds good. Sounds great.
Yeah. Well, you have a great day. We sure appreciate it, and we'll be in touch. You stay in touch, too.
Okay, thank you. You guys, too.
If you enjoyed the show, please find us on iTunes and leave us a review. You can follow us on Instagram at bodycontouring.academy, and you can always find us on Facebook too. Please email us at info@bodycontouringacademy.com with any feedback, topic suggestions, or to offer to tell your body contouring success story. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great rest of your week, and as always, and until next time, beautiful wishes.